What's up, you guys? My name is Preston James here at the Laughing Buddha Recording Studio here in Los Angeles, California, bringing you another amazing album review. First and foremost, I want to say thank you so much for showing some love and support on my three previous album reviews. Tyler, the Creator, Chromacopia, Leon Bridges, Leon, and Samara Joy, Portrait. I truly appreciate the love and all the other ones that I've done. So we're just going to keep this shit going, keep the momentum going, bringing you dope album and record reviews. A little highlight is that, or a little feature, or a little surprise, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But for my next few album and record reviews, I will be going over this year's nominees at the Grammys for Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Best Engineered Album, Producer of the Year, and Songwriter of the Year. Those are the ones I will be going over extensively, going into a little bit more detail. I'm pretty excited about it. I get to nerd out on that stuff and bring all that information and awareness to you guys. Right? That's what this podcast show, album review thing is all about. It's about bringing awareness to you all, the public, about the people behind the scenes who make the album work. Right? The engineers, the producers, and the songwriters. We all know about the artists, but the people behind the scenes who really put the album together at the end of the day. So hopefully that's working and you guys get a little bit more knowledgeable about this and can show some love and support for these guys. All right? Thank you for listening to my rant. I appreciate it. So this time on the Laughing Buddha Recording Studio with Preston James album review, we're looking at A AP Ferg, baby. DAROLD. All right, let's get into it. All right, A AP Ferg. We know the ASAP collective. A lot of us do. Most notably is A$AP Rocky. We know it's A$AP Rocky. I don't want to get too much into the ASAP collective, but I am posting the previous and most current members of the ASAP collective right here. A$AP Ferg is one of the most notable members. I know Playboy Carti was also part of or signed with their label. I'm not sure to what extent, but I know that he was on the label, and he's the only one, I believe, without the ASAP. I don't even know what you call that, the acronym in front of their name. So we're talking about DAROLD, A$AP Ferg's DAROLD, released on November 8th, 2024. It's his official third album or studio album release. Third. I know some of you are thinking, wait. I know he's got more albums than that, and he does. If I'm correct, he has 7, possibly 8, but 7 total. But this is his third studio album. He released it through RCA, which is Radio Corporation of America. I actually didn't know that. RCA Records. I did not know that was Radio Corporation of America. So I'm learning a lot as I do some of these reviews as well, right? I got to do my research. And that's also through Sony Music Entertainment, which it seems like they run a lot of shit behind the scenes. But yes, RCA, Sony Music Entertainment, A$AP Worldwide, and Polo Grounds. He's been with these guys, the same record company, the same label, since the beginning, since his first album, his first official studio album in 2013, Trap Lord. And I'm going to get back to what I was just saying. So he only has 3 studio albums. He has 7 total, possibly 8, and then I don't want to get into that, but 7 for sure. So 3 official studio albums, which is Trap Lord 2013, Always Strive and Prosper in 2016, and then this one, DAROLD, in 2024. He has an EP, which is called Floor Seats, which I loved, in 2019, and he's got 3 mixtapes, Ferg Forever, which came out in 2014, Still Striving in 2017, and Floor Seats 2 in 2020. So now this is a little loose, right? This isn't always the case. Something we like to say here in the entertainment music, or music specifically, is that in music industry, is that nothing's 100% one way, right? If it sounds good, it is good. So a lot of times people just make it up as they go, like a sound or how something should be written. So we just experiment with things, and then it just is. So the reason I say that is because an EP, when he released an EP, Floor Seats, in 2019, EP is the abbreviation for extended play. So a lot of the times, an artist or a group will release an extended play of like 3 to 4, maybe 5 songs. If those 5 songs didn't fit on the album, maybe they wanted to do it before the album came out as kind of like a preview. It keeps listeners engaged. It keeps fans kind of locked in on the artist and group. To make sure that they're still putting out content. Some artists do it because they're obligated by contract. So they release an EP because of that contract. So again, this isn't always the case. And then some artists can just release an EP just because they want to release some of the content they've been working on and get a feel for what people think of it. And then probably follow that up with an album that's very similar to that style or that story or that theme or whatever it is. Therefore, a mixtape. We've all heard about a mixtape. A mixtape, man, I've heard some really good mixtapes throughout the years. And then I've heard some decent mixtapes. So the idea, the general blanket kind of statement with a mixtape is not, I hate to say it's not as cared for as a studio album, but it's a lot more loose with the production, the engineering, not necessarily a songwriting per se, but more so the engineering and production. It's more loose. People aren't as focused on making sure that it's hitting the right levels and the right decibels, the right dB when they push it out and they master it. It's more of just like a feeler. A lot of people put mixtapes together because they have a collection of songs that they have been working on that just don't fit with an album, or that they don't necessarily have anything to put it with, right? Traditionally, albums have a theme or a story. And so artists will put together an album based off this theme or based off this story, right? We've talked about how usually the first 4 to 6 songs are the ones that are going to hit the hardest, that hit the most, and get the most attention on an album, right? That's not by coincidence. That's by marketing and psychology about how long people are going to be attentive to a song, even how long the intro is, right? If you don't get the chorus and the hook going right away, you're going to lose people's interest. So, right, it's all based off like algorithms and psychological theories based on how people perceive a song and how interested they are and how long that takes for them to be interested or disinterested. Disinterested? Not interested? I don't know if I just made that word up, but it's all marketing, right? It's all about advertisement and marketing. So they want to make sure that they keep the listener engaged. And I think that's a great thing. That's not a bad thing at all. So usually it's the first 4 to 6 songs. I mean, I promise you, go look at any of your favorite records and see what the favorite the biggest hit songs are in the album. And usually, this isn't always, again, it's not always, but most of the time it's in those top 4 to 6 songs. And I found that to be the case on this album. The first 6 songs, all 6, hit super hard, and I love them through and through. Each one of them, especially with the kickoff with light work on this album, DAROLD, it's solid. It's solid. But anyway, so yes, so that's the deal with studio albums, mixtapes, and EPs. So Ferg, and not all artists do this, and I've talked about this as well, but Ferg has stuck with his main people per se, and I mean this in the engineering sense. So he's had one main engineer for a lot of his mixing and recording, although the recording engineers have changed up a little bit. But 2 people he's stuck with through and through is Hector Delgado for his mixing and some of the recording, and Dave Kutch as his mastering engineer. They have worked on every single album up to this point with DAROLD, every project he's done. So that includes the studio albums, the mixtape, plural, mixtapes, and the EP. So they've done all of those, worked on those primarily, and it was only this album that he changed his mixing engineer and mastering engineer, but he has worked with these people before. So it wasn't anything new. It was just new in a sense of not using the people he has previously used on all of his work. So he's worked with engineers like Jason Joshua, Mixed by Ali, Ethan Stevens, Jeff Ramsey, and Juan Pena. Now, if you don't know Jason Joshua, he is like the main engineer in the industry right now. He does all the top R&B and pop and a lot of rap records, including this record, which we'll get into in a minute. But he does a lot of that stuff. Mixed by Ali, who has worked with A AP Ferg, was Kendrick Lamar's main recording and mix engineer. He came up with Kendrick Lamar, and that's like every engineer's dream. Is like you get an artist that comes into the studio or that you meet and you start working with them, and then you rise with them. As they become more famous and get more notoriety, so do you, because their sound is associated with you. You help produce and make their sound, right? And same with the producers as well, and the songwriters, whoever's with them, if the songwriters want to be put in the forefront. So yeah, Mixed by Ali, he's done a lot of different stuff. He's worked with various types of people and different types of artists, but most notably is Kendrick Lamar, Gunna, and YG. Jeff Ramsey. Jeff Ramsey's worked with Doechii, Nas, and Keke Palmer. Juan Pena, who Ferg has done a lot of work with, has worked with Rick Ross, Yeat, and Lil Nas X. And who was the other person I had on there? Oh yeah, Jason Joshua, which we'll get into in a minute. He's done anybody and everybody that I can think of. But Dave Kutch, his mastering engineer that he's kept this whole time as well. Dave Kutch, like I said, he's mastered all of his albums except for this one. And he's worked with Dave Kutch, man, he is the guy. He is the mastering engineer in the industry, or at least one of the top 5. And he's done everything from Iron Maiden to John Legend to Tyrese, Lil Wayne, The Weeknd, Big Sean. I mean, as big as it gets, Dave Kutch has worked on those albums. And if you don't know, mastering engineering, the engineering of mastering, is the last and final stage in the recording or album process. It is the fine tuning of frequencies. It is the boost or what's the word I'm looking for decreasing? Boosting or removing certain frequencies, giving that extra push. It's making sure that the volume levels are at where they need to be, right? Certain platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and what's the other one I keep thinking of? What's Jay-Z's Tidal? All of them have different algorithms for when you put in a song that's mastered. They have a threshold that it sits at, and you want your song, once you put it in there, you want it to hit and sound the best at that threshold that they have for their algorithm on their platforms. So each engineer, mastering engineer, and really good mix engineers as well, will go in and figure out what that is and kind of blend their sound to taste for their final touches. So he's the man. He's awesome. So Dave Kutch. Like I said, he changed it up for the mixing engineer and the mastering engineer for this album, DAROLD. He stuck with Jason Joshua. Jason Joshua has worked with, he also did Mike Seberg, which is Jason Joshua's dude. He worked with Jason Joshua on this. Mike Seberg, Lexi Goodard, who was the recording engineer for most of this album, and Jess Jackson. These engineers have worked with Tyga, Pop Smoke, Kanye West, Pusha T, G-Eazy, Ed Sheeran, Rosalia, Meek Mill. I already said Tyga, and who was the album I was just listening to? Oh, Jason Joshua did an album or a song with her that was, I think it was called Fight For You. But I heard it on a podcast, somebody talking about it. And man, that song that he's done is like a mixing engineer's dream. At first, I was like, let me hear this song. I don't know. And I heard it, and the push and pull factor, the balance of instrumentals is just sonically pleasing to a different level. It's sonically pleasing to a different level, right? Subconsciously, a lot of us will listen to an album and not know that that's what we're kind of feeling, or is this like kind of balance of the instrumentals and vocal doing this push and pull factor of playing with your kind of like your body, like your soul, your emotions. It kind of feeds off this sound and this vibration, right? This energy. But Jason Joshua is known to really kind of hone in on that feel and that feeling and really get the most out of the instrumentation and vocals to ensure that you have that feeling when you're listening to a project. So he stuck with them for this album. I think it was a great decision. He's worked with Jason Joshua in the past. I'm going to show some of the producers right here, but I will name a few of the producers on the album. ACYDE, which I think is Acid, Dowd, Eric Hudson, Cash Beats, Kelvin Crash, Lex Luger. I want to give a shout out to Lex Luger. Lex Luger, if you follow him on Instagram, he's always interactive. He's always being involved. He's always doing live feeds. He's always interacting with people. I really support Lex Luger. I think I saw a documentary on him recently. I know he's done a lot of work with Juicy J, but he made the climb, man. He was like, he came up and then something happened where he went down for a little bit and then made the climb back up. But this dude is very persistent, consistent, always hardworking, but and about family. He's got his son with him when he's doing some stuff online. But Lex Luger is the man. Check him out. He's also got some sample packs on Splice, which is like sample packs. There's a bunch of samples on there. So I know he's got a pack on there too. But Lex Luger and Mike Will Made It are some others of the producers that are on this album. But like I said, you can see him right here. And then what else did he do? The songwriters, some of the songwriters on the album. I got to get into songwriters, right? Those are some of the people on these albums that get really looked over. Not a lot of people, unless you're really into the music and the industry, you're not really looking at songwriters. But I do encourage all of you, if you didn't know this, and I didn't know this till about a year and a half ago, but if you go on to Apple Music on your phone and you click on the 3 dots to the right of each song from an artist, you can look at view credits. That's where I get some of my information. You look at view credits and it'll have the songwriters, the producers, and the engineers, which I think is awesome. And sometimes they'll have the instrumentalists as well. So like if he brought in someone to play on the keys or a violin player or guitars, whatever, like they'll list those people as well. Now it's not always on there, but pretty consistently they have the right credits on there. And then I also look at like Genius. Genius always has a lot of the correct information too. Usually I take a collaboration of both of them and kind of make sure that they're both giving the right information. But you can see a lot of songwriters and engineers and producers on there too, if you're ever curious. But he had Ade Odunyami Lami, ASAP Ferg, Black Pearl, Bloody Osiris, Coco Jones. Shout out Coco Jones. She is up for a Grammy, if not a couple of Grammys this year at the 2025 Grammy Awards. Didi Osama. I just checked out Didi Osama. Dude is fire. Really like Didi Osama. Very aggressive style of rap, but it's fire. Denzel Curry. Always love Denzel Curry, bringing out that Florida sound. Diddy, Future, Cash Beats, Kelvin Crash, Lex Luger. And these people, again, these are the songwriters, right? You have some of the producers who have also worked on some of the songwriting, which I think is awesome. If you get this collection of people, like I talk about in every single video and album review, if you have that consistency from top to bottom to see your vision through from the jump, it makes the album sound better because everyone's on the same page. So if everyone's on the same page, they know what you want and what you don't want. So moving forward with each project or each song, they can kind of tailor it to what the artist needs, right? Because it's about the artist. We all cater towards the artist. I was watching an interview with Jason Joshua lately, and it's like, even if we try stuff as engineers, we try stuff like we'll tweak the 808 a certain way. If they like it, they do. If they don't, then we fix it, right? We tailor it to the artist and do basically what they want. But a lot of artists will let some artists will let engineers just kind of do their own thing and then go from there. But that's not always the case. Artists know what they want. They know their sound, and especially artists at that level who've been in the game for a while. They know what they want. But it's up to us as engineers to bring that sound out of the instrumentation and of their vocals. Bring that feeling out. Like I told you, Jason Joshua is a master at this. And I really highly suggest looking him up, looking at his discography and checking out all the stuff that he's done. You will be very amazed. It's probably a lot of the records that you currently listen to and have previously listened to. But Jason Joshua also did the mastering on this album. He's not known to do a lot of mastering in my experience and in my understanding. He's just been primarily mixing. Very lightly will add into production here and there, but rarely does mastering. So for him to do the mastering on this album is awesome. It's amazing. It sounds great, right? And he followed through. So he mixed it and then he mastered it. And that can be a great thing. If you mix it and then you master it, that can be a great thing because you're following suit, right? You have the sound, you've locked it in, and now you just sit on it for a few days and then you master it and kind of tailor it to taste of what the artist wants and what you hear as well to bring out the best in those frequencies and that sound for each track. Quick side note is that if you know who Casey Musgraves is, I just found out that her album is up for album of the year, and she mastered it. She mastered her own album, which I thought was really cool and can be tough to do, right? Because getting a different ear on it after you've mixed it or after you've recorded it, you want somebody else's ear so they can have a different point of view through a different lens. That always helps. Well, I shouldn't say always. That most likely will help. And which is what most artists and people do. But the fact that she mastered her own album, I thought was really cool. Overall, this album sounds solid. It's got a very strong start with light work. Like I said, the song with Future Allure is awesome. I love the song Messy with Denzel Curry. The first 6 songs on the album, light work, Thought I Was Dead, Alive, with Dapper Dan is fire as well. Demons with Denzel Curry and Messy. Sorry, I thought Messy was with Denzel Curry, but no. Demons with Denzel Curry, and then Messy, and then French Tips with Coco Jones. All those songs, the top 7. Actually, I just looked at it, 7. Those 7 songs are fire. If you haven't listened to his other stuff, check it out. I really like Floor Seats 2 and Floor Seats. Floor Seats and Floor Seats 2 are solid, but this has got to be my favorite. This has got to be my favorite A AP Ferg record or album. Definitely about this. So I really appreciate you guys always tuning in. I know I'm on 100 sometimes, and I appreciate you locking in, sticking with me. The next few album reviews and record reviews will be for the record of the year, album of the year, best engineered album, producer of the year, and songwriter of the year. I might do one more category, but we'll see. I'm excited to do some Beyonce, some Billie Eilish, some Sabrina Carpenter, some Casey Musgraves. I'm really excited to kind of dive into that, and some Kendrick Lamar and some Mustard. Anyways, I'm really excited to bring that to you guys. I'm going to do a super deep dive on this and bring you the most information that I can for the production and the engineering, as well as the artistry as a whole. So quick fun fact is I just found out what the difference is between Song of the Year and Record of the Year. Song of the Year is by itself the song. So not like us. That song just by itself by Kendrick Lamar. That would be Song of the Year. A Record of the Year would be not like us, but it would be Kendrick Lamar, Mustard, and his engineers, and anybody else who, if anybody else wrote on it, but I think he was the sole songwriter on that album or on that song. So it'd be anybody that was involved in making that record. So that's the difference between Song of the Year and Record of the Year. All right, I love you guys. Do what you got to do to get to where you want to be so you can do what you want to do. Always do what you got to do to get to where you want to be so you can do what you want to do. Please follow your dreams. I love you guys. Release your content. Release your videos. Release your music. Let the world hear you. You have a voice. You matter. Your voice matters. Release your content. Release your music. Otherwise, it's just sitting there. I'm releasing free beats here soon. Free beats here soon, and songs and instrumentation with the stems on my website, thelaughingbuddhars.com. So please look out for those. I will keep you updated on the next album review. You can also hear some of my updates on my new podcast called The Reflection, and that is on all podcast streaming platforms. You can find the videos on YouTube at thereflection_PJ. So again, got some beats and some stems and some instrumentals coming for free downloads, and some awesome reviews coming up. So again, release your content. I love you guys. Be safe. Stay out of trouble. Do what you got to do. I'll talk to you next time.